Hi there. Hi, everybody. We're just going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Becoming Competition Proof. First, I want to thank you for being part of the Business Sister Support Group. This is a safe space to ask questions. If you have maybe a new website and you want to get some feedback on it or a new logo, by all means, drop it in here. We'll check it out. So that's pretty much the purpose of the group, is that I wanted business big sisters to help our baby business sisters to have a safe space. Excuse me. If you have not gotten the workbook, sometimes Facebook makes me feel really old. Okay, it's all these things are popping up. Okay, I miss MySpace sometimes. Okay, all right. If you have not gotten the workbook, I put a link in there. I put it earlier. If you're on my email list, I have that already too. So if you want to take a look at it, I'm gonna pull it up too, so I can kind of go through it with you. Okay, so this whole idea of competition proof, and the reason why I wanted to do something about becoming competition proof is that I often hear people worrying about competition. They're worried about people stealing your customers. And just a little bit about my story: I was a school teacher, then I left because I didn't like it anymore, and I started an overnight childcare center. And I got an email. We weren't even open like 6 months yet, and I got an email from my realtor saying they were going to put another childcare center in, like, I'm in a strip mall and then there's two standalone buildings. They were gonna put one right in front, as in, like, I opened my door and there's another child care center. I sobbed on the ride home from work. I'm like, Lord, please. It's a dentist office now. But I use that as an example, as sometimes we get balled up for no reason. Like, I'm really good to my parents. I'm really good to my families. I love them like they are blood. And if somebody else is going to do that, awesome. But I walk in faith knowing that I'm doing the best possible job with my childcare center. So I don't need to worry about competition. Like, it's fine, right? So in the workbook, we have this thing in here. I put a little that our deepest fear is about not letting your light shine dim. I love that that poem in there. I like to put a little something in my workbooks. But so we're going to be really talking about this formula to create your special sauce that's going to make you completely competition proof. If you were on the replay, I'm gonna try to pull because I have two things. If you're on the replay later today, please make sure you hit replay so I can make sure I follow back up with you. Make sure you have this workbook. So the first thing I want you to think about is, why did you decide like this specific business? And in the workbook, I want you to take some time today, or maybe over the next week, as we're kind of finishing the year and thinking about New Year's resolutions. I want you to reflect on exactly why you ended up right here with that business. Okay. And I'm going to be sharing examples from me. Just, I'm a teacher. That's how I used to teach, was with examples. What got me to business coaching, right? Now, I was a teacher, opened an overnight childcare center. Now I'm a business coach. What got me there was I was in a job that I was really unhappy with. At one point, I loved it. I loved teaching. I have an apple tattoo on my wrist, and that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Probably 6 or 7 years before I left, I should have quit sooner. I was miserable. I was walking in anger and bitterness and really just being a brat, and I should have just left. And then I left and I started this overnight childcare center. I taught high school alternative school. I was not early childhood. Like, I use that as an out. And what that job, what my childcare center offered me was professional freedom. I'm allowed to walk in my boldness. I have my days free, so I can go to meetings and I can mentor students at the high school here. I can hop on these Zoom calls, and I've now been positioned in a place 3 years later where board of ed members for my school district meet me for breakfast. We talk on the phone, like they answer my emails. High ups in the school district answer when I email them, they email right back. I am just glory to God, I was able to be the education chair for the local chapter of the NAACP. I didn't even know they let white people in the NAACP. Yeah, here we are. And I'm in a position where I can make some change. And the reason why I share that story is because that's the blueprint of who I'm going to target. There are business coaches that all over the place, right? But I want people who have a passion, have a mission, that they had a job, they start a business, but the business isn't the end result. This is the end result, being able to get out and make change, make moves, make money, have influence, have power, so that we can actually make change. There's things that we need to do in this world. That is my ideal audience. So some of you are in here, we've had conversations. The last Business Women in the City event, I spoke with women that have callings on their lives to open churches, open halfway houses, open places for people to go when they get out of prison to get jobs and have a fresh start. Like, they're in the business stage. They need to generate revenue. They need to have professional freedom, because after your day job, you might not be able to speak boldly on policy change. There were things that I just couldn't say and do when I was a public school teacher. I'd get called into HR, regardless if I was right or not. So I needed a place where I could be free to say what I wanted to say. And because I had that freedom, I'm in a position where I'm starting to make change. And so I want to teach people how to do that. That is my blueprint. So I want you to spend time with yourself and think about, how did you get to this point? What hiccups along the way got you to this specific business? Why this one? You could have done anything. Why this? Why am I doing business coaching? Because I know that God has given me a gift to help people monetize their skills, to then take it and change things. I don't want to work with people who just want to make money to keep it in a bank account. And if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. That's just not my ideal audience. That's not my ideal clientele. I can't speak to that. And that's okay. There's no judgment. I'm not here to help somebody just leave their day job and do this full time. That is not my ideal client, because I can't speak to that. I didn't just stay at my childcare center. I very well could stay at my childcare center, work my couple shifts, lead my team, love on my parents, and all that's wonderful. But God has more for me. So that is my ideal client. And that's why it's so important that you think about your story from beginning to where you are now, because that is going to become your marketing blueprint. Those are the people, that's the people that you're going to be speaking to. The next page on the workbook talks about the audience. If you were at the Business Women in the City event, it was 2 weeks ago, we talked about all the reasons why somebody could use your product or service. I'm going to hop over to another business venture I was in. I was in Mary Kay. I did it for 2 years. The ladies were wonderful. My director was amazing. And one of and I love her to pieces. She's an angel. One of the lead ladies. Some of the marketing advice she would give me is, if they have skin, they can be your client. If they have a face, they can be your client. And that is a problem, because I'm competing with everybody else. What I needed to do was list all the reasons why somebody would need Mary Kay. Why are all the reasons why somebody needs Herbalife? Why are all the reasons why someone might want to sign up for ACN? What are all the reasons why somebody may need your mental health services? What are all the reasons why somebody needs to learn about sickle cell, Shonda Ward? Why? That's my best friend. What are all the reasons why somebody needs your tutoring services, Adele? Why do people need why does people need your restaurant? Why do people need your baked goods? What are all the reasons? Okay. And you need to be very specific. And then what I want you to do is pick one. What is the one reason that resonates with you about this particular service and need? Okay. I got into Mary Kay because I wanted to use it to fund my nonprofit organization. And it did. And when I would market parties and ask people to buy charcoal masks or mascara or something like that, I would say, hey, I'm raising money to send kids to Skills USA. And we were able to cut a check and give it to Somerset County Public Schools and help send kids to Skills USA. I think they were going to Florida or something. We were able to send care packages to first generation college students. So that was my mission, right? That was my one connection with Mary Kay. It wasn't the makeup, it wasn't the skincare. It was that I knew that money could help somebody else. That was my connection with it. So when I marketed it to people, that's what I said. Hey, do you think you could have a party for me? I'm raising money for books. I'm raising money to get some, snacks and Tide Pods and things like that to send to some college students. Do you think you could help me out with that? That was how I was able to be successful in booking parties. And so when it comes to your specific need or service, what is that one reason why somebody would want to go to your church? What is one reason why somebody needs to come to your restaurant? Maybe because when they taste your food, it feels like home. We're going to get into some examples in it in a little bit. But once you have that one example, that one reason, you run with it. And don't look at anything else. All right. I use this example in the businesswomen in the city, that if I had to do Mary Kay over again, I would have picked something like rosacea. I have rosacea. My mom has rosacea. I can speak to that. And I would just curate items and services to help somebody with rosacea. I wouldn't try to be running after anybody with skin. I would just pick one reason why somebody would need it and go with it. Okay. All right. So once you have your story and your reason behind why you like this particular product or service, if you got into ACN, why did you get into ACN? I want to use it for retirement money. I want to use it so I can go fight fires. We got somebody in here who's a firefighter. She wants to be able to fight fires. You're not going to make a whole, like, imagine if she had a life where she could go fight fires a couple days a week, because that's very hard work. And then she could rest the rest of the week because she's cultivated this amazing business where she can rest. Like, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, get beyond just the making the money of the business and think about what that end result is going to be. That is going to be your secret sauce. And then on page 5, that's the formula: your perspective plus your one reason why that somebody would need your service. And that is going to make you competition proof. Ironclad marketing plan. Nobody can replicate your experience. Nobody can replicate your perspective, right? Nobody can, no one's going to know why you got into that specific industry. All right. So that, all of that, it's you. So if you can get in that headspace, you don't have to worry about competition. You don't have to worry about somebody else coming and snatching up your clients. Excuse me. I see some people are in here. I'm trying to see who they are. I don't like the way this new Facebook is. I liked it where it was just live and you could just see people, but I can't even see if anybody's making any comments. Facebook makes me feel so old sometimes, I promise. Okay, all right. So now I wanted to give some examples, some industry examples. Okay, so I touched on some direct sales. Why did you get into that specific direct sales? I told you that I got into it because I saw it as a way to bankroll my nonprofit and to be able to generate some additional income so that I could give and be charitable. That was my reason. Okay. Why did you get into yours? I used the example about the rosacea. We've got somebody who's a firefighter. She wants to use her direct sales, her network marketing, to be able to do her passion, which is to be out here saving lives. I can get behind that. Like, I love that. And when she tells that story and she uses it in her social media, she uses it in her emails, she uses it when she's telling people about why this is such a great opportunity, that's gonna make her competition proof. Yes, I'm going to sign up with her to get a lower electric bill. Why? Because I can get on board with her story, right? That is her competition proof marketing plan. Another one is food service. I touched on it briefly. People have a very emotional connection when it comes to food. Why am I going to go to your restaurant? Your food may taste like something from home. You may have a very welcoming environment. There's a coffee house that I go to quite a bit. And there's a bunch of different reasons why somebody might go into a coffee shop. And you may think, oh, they want coffee. I don't always get coffee. I go there because I want space to work. I want to be spread out. And there's one particular one. It's the Together Cafe. Then I also found out that this Together Cafe also like raises money and offers meals to people. Like, I noticed it was like really busy, a lot of foot traffic in. And it wasn't like people who were like working in the city. I could tell these people were coming in like, you know, maybe to get like a free cup of coffee or something. And that's what this place does. They offer food. I'm going to go there because I know my money is going to something amazing. I'm going to go in there because I like the vibe. I like that I have room to sit down. I like that it's a bunch of diverse people coming in. Like, there's a bunch of reasons why somebody would come into your restaurant. And so think about the connection. Why did you want to open a restaurant? Think of the vibe and the environment that you wanted to create to connect to your audience. That's going to make your restaurant stand out from every other restaurant. I don't care how many pizza joints there are. If you are tapping into why pizza, oh, because I used to make this stuff with my grandmother. Oh, she taught me recipes, or maybe not pizza, but like, you know, pasta and sauce. And these are things we used to do at the holidays. And, you know, my grandmother used to speak Italian to me. And like, that's the story you tell. And I'm going to show up for that when I see it in the decor, when I see photos of your grandparents on the walls. Like, that's the vibe. That's what I'm talking about. When you make it, when you are the I don't even want to call it the spine of your business, and your story is the spine of your business, I'm going to go to your restaurant because it feels like home. I feel like I'm at my grandma's house, right? The last one I'm going to talk about is mental health. We do have some people in here who are mental health, life coach. I'm going to kind of ball y'all in together because while your story is going to be your marketing plan, I also understand that you want to have boundaries. Okay. You don't want to spill all your tea. But what you can do is if you got into mental health, let's say you're a relationship coach. We got a couple of those in here. Say you not a coach, but a therapist or coach, and you help people mend their marriages or decide that they're going to call it quits, right? Why marriages? Why all the things that you could work on? Why relationships? What happened to you? Did you see a broken home? Did you come from an amazing home and you want other people to have that? Like, what was your reason why you got into that specific industry in regards to mental health, right? You may not want to share all of your goodies. And I understand you don't want to spill all your tea. I get it. So what you do is you go find studies and examples and YouTube videos and statistics that highlight these things. Because at the end of the day, what you want is that your ideal audience says, wow, I feel seen. Like she really gets it. It's coming from an empathetic place. And so I don't have to specifically like give out all my details of my life, but I can connect with people by using other examples that I find in research. So yeah, so once you have all that, that's your blueprint. That is probably the biggest thing is you want to see where you're at, where you're going to go in your business and what you're going to do later. All right. And the reason why I like to focus so much on what you're going to do later is because this middle part is hard. It is stressful when you're trying to figure out what you got to do and you're trying to work with the mindset of like, do I quit this steady job with the benefits and go into a job where I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to pay my bills? And I promise when you are walking in God's gift, it will happen. I have not had a bill not get paid. And it would be silly things like, over the summer, I flooded my house, which I thought was like a complete disaster. Then my fiance's father helped me out. I didn't have to pay for any of it. And so the insurance check covered the bills for the rest of the month. Came out of nowhere, right? Then some of you might have noticed at the Night Watch Child Care Center, my center, I won the Palmer Gillis Entrepreneur of the Year Award for this year, which had a cash prize, which covered my November, December bills. Like watching God just send the things to you when you're walking in faith. Like I get that all of that stuff in the middle is so stressful. And so it's important that you understand what the finish line is going to be. Because if you keep focusing on this, that gets tiring. And sometimes you just need to focus and think, okay, when this is all done, the people I'm going to be able to help. When I see a mom struggling, that I could cut her a $10,000 check for her to go start a new life when she leaves an abusive relationship, that I'm able to just generously give to organizations in my area that I know need the money. Like, let me make the money and I'll give it to you. Like, that's really where my head is right now, that it's not even about me buying a new house or paying my car off or having money to go to Disney whenever I want. This is about changing the world. And that is my audience. That's my ideal audience. So I want to make sure that you have a very clear path from boom, boom, boom. It's three stages. And I want you to be really focusing on what are you going to do when you have all this money? What are you going to change? What influence? What things do you need to make happen? So we got to get through this middle step, right? And I really want, like, once you have your ideal audience, that's a big part. That's a big part of the journey. And I want to help you get the rest of the part of the journey. I want you to be successful. I want you to have so much money that we're just looking for charities. I mean, just imagine being able to call up the power company and say, hey, who's delinquent on their electric bill, and be able to pay. Like, that's the life for me. That's the goals for me. And that's what I, excuse me, those are the clients that I want. Those are the people that I want. I want other rich ladies. So we can say, hey, look, we need $100,000. Who's got it? I got 10,000. You got 10,000. You got 10,000. Okay, look, let's pull it all together and send it to, excuse me. Look, I'm getting all excited about it. Like, let's send that stuff over so we can really help some people. So if you are already on my email list, you already know about the Suit Builder Academy. That's my signature program. I've talked about it in this group a couple of times. We come back from break and we've got 4 more weeks left. And just in 5 months, we've been on the news a couple of times. We've been invited to speak at podcasts. We've been invited to go to events. We're list building. We're creating free resources for our clients. Like, we are moving and shaking in there. And I'm so excited to see the growth in the Suit Builder Academy. So between now and the middle of January, I'm going to be opening up my calendar, and I want to go over some of the free things that I've given in my the email list. And if you're not on my email list, if you get the workbook for today, you'll automatically be on it. And just feel free to send me a message and be like, hey, I didn't get this, that, the other. The three things that I want to go over is one is the finding the time bingo card. I think I did this earlier in the summer. And sometimes we just don't know where to start. I don't know about you. I get very overwhelmed with tasks. And I just shut down. But if I can just take 20 minutes and do one thing and then 20 minutes and do another, at some point, you know, an hour's gone by and I've actually got a lot of things done. So that was one of the things that I offered earlier in the summer. And then when you get your bingo, reward yourself. The second thing that I had was a social media template. Sometimes we don't know what to post. And especially if you're working for one of these network marketing, sometimes they already give you graphics and nobody wants to see the same stuff. Like I'm friends with a lot of Mary Kay ladies and I just see them post they all post the same posts. I don't want to see that. Like I want something unique, right? I want something that is going to make me want to take action with you. So this social media template actually gives you different prompts, different categories of what you can post each day. And it kind of takes some of the guesswork out. The last one was something that I posted. It was right after Facebook and Instagram shut down. It was 70 free digital products that you can make and offer to your clients. And that's a way to build your email list, just a way to be generous and share the information with folks. And like I said, it doesn't cost anything to make these things. So I would love for you to make sure you have all of these. I'm opening up my calendar for half-hour calls for us to kind of go over everything and see how I can help you get from your day job that you're miserable in to the business that you want to build so you can live in abundance and go on and make this change that you want to make. So I hope you guys have a wonderful new year and thank you so much for joining me and I will see you guys next time.